What's that sound? It's For Amusement Only, the EM and Bingo Pinball podcast.
Welcome back to For Amusement Only. This is Nick Baldridge. Trying a recording setup in a different room today, so we'll see if this yields any favorable result, or if I prefer the ambient echo of the arcade. For today's topic, I wanted to discuss a long-forgotten game, which I had mentioned in passing during the Ryan Claytor interview on episode 100, and that is Treasure Chest, which was made by Exhibit. This game is the first game, as far as I've seen, with a player-controlled magnet. This magnet operates like the MagnaSave, or like the magnets in Jungle Lord, or similar, in that you depress a button and the magnet turns on. It will draw the ball towards it and then will fling it in a semi-random direction depending on how long you depress the button. The idea of this game, Treasure Chest, is that you are a deep-sea diver and you need to dive down 10 fathoms in order to, you need to dive down 5 fathoms in order to get your treasure, and then surface with another 5 fathoms. After you have surfaced, it doesn't matter how many of the bumpers at the top of the playfield that you hit, numbered 1 through 5, they just score some points, but they don't actually change the amount that you've dived displayed on the back glass, because you've already made it down and back up. So you're all good. What's interesting about this game, it's a wood rail. It's made by Exhibit, or ESCO, as they called themselves, Exhibit Supply Company. It has the characteristic red shooter lane cover that Exhibit games had at this time. It was made in 1947, which, if you'll recall, was the year that flippers were invented by Gottlieb. So this is a flipperless game, but it does have a flipper-style control mechanism in that magnet, which is located near the bottom center of the playfield. Below the magnet is a single post with a rubber, and if you were to hold the ball on the magnet and then drop it straight down, it would bounce off of that post. Now, ideally, you would nudge it at the same time so that it bounced off of the angled rubbers on either side and hopefully back up the playfield. This game has a lot going on. There are 5 different rollovers, 2 kick-out pockets, and 14 different passive bumpers, and then 2 diamond-shaped bumpers in the bottom left and bottom right. As the ball is coming down, if you were to tap the magnet so that it just briefly grabs the ball, you could probably fling it straight into one of those diamond bumpers, which also score special in some cases. Now, this being an older wood rail game, there were usually ways to score multiple replays off of a single game, and this game is no exception. You can score up to 30 replays from a single game. The artwork is pretty awesome, actually. It has some mermaids on the back glass hanging out by a treasure chest with some fish and stingray and so forth. And there is stingray that's blowing air bubbles for whatever reason, and one of the air bubbles has the credit window in it that allows you to see the number of replays that you've won. The artwork on the playfield is some more fish, which are looking fairly clueless as they swim around, and I believe another mermaid. This is a beautiful game. Really gorgeous wood rail. The cabinet has a blue base coat with fish and treasure chest and a diving man as the stencil. And this blue base coat is pretty darn unusual on a game from 1947. So this would be a really, really fascinating example to have in your collection. Just because it's the first use of this controlled magnet that I've certainly come across, and it looks like an exceptional game as well. Being from the 40s, there's not a whole lot in the way of mechanics to take care of. There are several trip relays that are reset by the coin slide, and then a few other relays on the playfield, but nothing too major. A single coil that controls both the kickouts using some wire, and in the back box there's the typical exhibit setup of a couple of score steppers, one with the bell attached, a replay counter, and then a stepper that counts the number of fathoms that you've descended and ascended. This game looks really great. 1947 exhibit treasure chest. Check it out on IPDB. You'll see the magnet, and it's very, very similar to any other magnet game, in that the magnet core is actually poking through the playfield. It's a little dissimilar to, say, Black Knight or Jungle Lord, but having the magnet core exposed like that on top of the playfield prevents some of the wear that you typically see on, say, a Black Knight or Jungle Lord. So, that's all for today. Thank you again for joining me. My name again is Nick Baldridge. You can reach me at foramusementonlypodcast@gmail.com. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Casts, via RSS, on Facebook, on Twitter at Bingo Podcast, and you can find me on Instagram at nbaldridge. You can also listen to us on our website, which is foramusementonly.libsyn.com, at which you can currently buy t-shirts. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.